Hello again. This is a bit of a change since the last video. That was when I was here to show you how to do this strip of mini grannies and the continuous join as you go. And that was the end of the last video. Since then, as you can obviously see, I have now gone ahead and finished the entire blanket. Now that sometimes happens when I'm working on a pattern, because a lot of the designing is done while I'm actually making the blanket. And it's not always useful to make videos as I go, because sometimes I do change my mind and rip lots of things out. So after I made this video, I decided to go ahead and complete the entire blanket and then come back and do some after the event type videos. So this next part that we're going to do after the round of mini grannies is a section of granny stripes, but they are slightly different, and I'll quickly explain them on this blanket and then I'll show you what to do. If you can look carefully at it, you can see that immediately after the continuous join as you go for the mini grannies, I turned my blanket onto the reverse side and did a round of granny trebles, which is just like what we did back when we were outlining the centre squares. So it's just a simple round of granny trebles. The only thing to be aware of is that because we've got joins, there are so many joins because the squares are so small, you will make your corner first. So it's chain 2, treble 2 in the corner, and then treble 3 in the next space, and then you're immediately at a point where you have to do the decreasing treble stitch over the join, and then you've got one more cluster of 3 trebles and then another cluster with the decreasing stitch. I'm going to show you that in just a minute, because I am aware I didn't show you it in the last video. And once that round is done, you'll turn the blanket back onto the front once more, and this time, instead of going straight into the next round of clusters, you're going to work a round of what's the smaller stitch, double crochet, which is single crochet in US terms. And this round of double crochet, you can see it in the dark brown, is not clusters, it's a double crochet in every stitch all the way along. Basically what that does is just gives an extra edge to your treble cluster. Now that sounds a bit confusing, I'm sure it does, but when I come to show you how to do it, it's very simple. After that, we've got another round of khaki, and this round of khaki is just simple treble clusters, but they go over the top of this double crochet round and down into the large space below. Again, another round of double crochet, this time in mocha, and a round of treble clusters in grey, double crochet in khaki, treble clusters in dark brown, and then double crochet in grey, and the final one is a round of treble clusters in mocha. And all that really does is it just adds a little bit of extra colour into these granny stripe rounds, and it kind of blends the colour quite nicely. So that's what we'll be doing next before we move on to the next block of granny squares. Now, I can't obviously show you how to do it on this blanket now that it's finished, so I'm going to push it out of the way. You get a glimpse of what happens later actually in that. So that's the blanket out of the way, and what I've got instead is a little sample piece. It's much easier to work it under the camera, and this is what I'll be working on now to show you the next lot of stitches. So what I've been working on at the moment is this round. Like I said, you will do one round of simple granny clusters in khaki immediately after the round. Now there's no, you can see here, there are no rounds of the mini grannies on this. I wasn't going to bother doing that because I've already shown you. So I've gone straight onto this sample piece, which is completely different colours, disregard that, and I've worked along with my treble clusters. Now, because these are larger squares, obviously, there are less of these decreasing clusters because they only happen between the joins. But I was aware that in the last video, I didn't actually show you how to make a decreasing cluster. So I'm going to pull this forward and show you that just now. So here we have the join between the squares, and you've got a corner here and a corner here. And if you were to put 3 trebles in this corner and then 3 trebles in this corner, you would end up with too many trebles and the whole thing would start to get wavy and it wouldn't lie flat. So what we are hoping to do with this decreasing treble is to end up with a cluster which is sitting on top of the join. I have done this before in other videos which you may have seen, but it's quite simple. All you need to do is yarn over, put your hook in and make a treble stitch, and that's in the first of these 2 corners. And then yarn over, put your hook in, and as if you're going to make a second treble stitch, yarn over and pull through 2, so that's half the stitch done. But at this point you're going to stop with 2 loops still on the hook, and then yarn over again and go into the corner in the next square, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 of them, you've got 3 loops left, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. And what you can see what happens if I hold it up is you've got a kind of an inverted V shape. So you've got 2 stitches which decrease down into just 1. And we finish that cluster by putting another treble stitch into that second corner. And there you have the decreasing cluster sitting on top of the join. And when you're coming to do the next row, you'll just work into this space here and then the space immediately after. And there isn't a space there, don't be fooled. Right, so that is the first round of this section, and I will continue around with this treble cluster, and I'll come back ready to show you what happens next. Now this first round of khaki is complete, and I'm ready to start the double crochet. I have turned my blanket back over again, so this is on the wrong side and the blanket is on the front. There's my stitch marker. This of course is not the blanket, but it's the sample, and it's exactly, we're going to be working exactly the same as the blanket. So I've now got my next colour, which is the dark brown, and I'm going to attach it in the corner as normal. And this time, like I said, we're going to be working in double crochet stitches, which in US terms is single crochet. And for that, we just need to chain 1 to start. And then I'm going to put 1 more double crochet into that corner space. And double crochet is the very smallest crochet stitch and just about the easiest one to do. Now we're not going to jump along to the space here like we did with the clusters. We're going to actually work a double crochet stitch into the top of each of the treble stitches from the previous round. So we've done our corner, and I'm just going to go straight into the top. Make sure you pick up both loops into the top of the stitch, the very next stitch, pull up your loop, so you've just got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2. That's a double crochet stitch. So again, you don't yarn over or anything, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. And once more, in, pull up a loop, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. And there you have that nice little different coloured edging going on to these treble clusters. So all you need to do now is work all the way around with this double crochet stitch. And when you get to the corner, you will put 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the corner, and then all the way around the other 4 sides till you get back to the beginning and fasten off. So that is the next round of this section. So I'll go into work it and I'll be back to show you what happens when we start the next round of treble clusters. See you then. So there is the double crochet round finished. It's a nice firm edge to the treble clusters, and we're now on to the next round of treble clusters. I didn't mention that in this first round there are 31 clusters, which includes the one cluster at each end, and it will grow by 1 each time. So by the time we've got this round done, there will be 32 and so on. The double crochet round, you don't need to count the stitches. This is a decorative round that doesn't affect the count in the pattern itself. So you can just work it. If you've missed out one at any point, the most likely place would be on a corner, don't worry about it. It's the count of the treble clusters that's the important thing. So I've got another round of khaki to do, and I've turned the blanket onto the back. So from now on, every round of double crochet is done on the front, and every round of treble clustered is worked on the reverse side. Now, I'm not going to go in, there is a tiny corner here which was created when I chained 2. It's hard to see, but there is a corner when I chained 2 when I did the double crochet around the corner. But I'm going to go into the space that's down below in this treble crochet round and attach my yarn. And it's just as if you are doing another round of granny stripe. So forget the fact that there is an edging of double crochet. So it's chain 2 and then 2 trebles in that space, 1, 2. These make slightly longer stitches because they've got slightly longer to travel to get over the bump of the double crochet, but don't worry about that. The treble crochet stitch will accommodate that quite well. Yarn over, next space along, so it's nothing to do with the double crochet, just put your hook in and treble 3 as normal. And there you see what's happening. You've got, it's like a, I don't know how to describe it really, it's like a cluster of treble crochets with a little bump on the top. Just a little bit of interest really in an otherwise simple granny stripe section. So there we go. That's all you need to do. You just need to work all the way around. Treble 3, chain 2, treble 3 in each of the corners. When you get back to the first corner, you've done the first half of it, so it's treble 3, chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of the first chain 2. So this is the second round of trebles, and I'll be back to start you off with the next round of double crochet, and then I'll leave you to finish off according to the pattern. So I'll see you in a bit. Just briefly, I've started the next round of double crochet. This time it's in Mocha. Started in the corner of the khaki treble clusters, chain 1, DC 1 in the corner, and then 1 DC stitch in each stitch all the way along. Now I'm not going to continue this because you now know what to do, and you can follow the pattern for the different colour changes and work up your strip of treble clusters. I'm just going to actually count what the final one is, the number of clusters in the final one, and then we can move on to the next part. Okay, so I've brought the finished blanket back up to let you see. So we had 2 rounds of khaki, 1 grey, 1 dark brown and 1 mocha. So that was 31 clusters in the first round, 32, 33, 34, 35. This is the last round of this section in the mocha, and there are 35 clusters on each side. And there you can see a little bit more clearly now, I think, because the colours are lighter, the double crochet in between. And that's the end of section 3. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.